And in the daytime, if you saw me, I was a civic activist, I guess you can call me. And at night, I would be out drinking. And when I first started drinking many years ago, it was fun. Everyone did it.
And was it like older people just influencing you to do it, or the guys after the construction site?
You just do it. Yeah. I mean, you just kind of go out and have a few beers and have some fun with it, whatever. And over time, alcoholism progression. Over time, that turned from having fun to things happened. I blacked out. Did things I regret. Didn't remember what happened.
Do you have stories that you think about when you think about those times?
Yeah, I share them at Alcoholics Anonymous when we talk at meetings and stuff like that. And April 23rd my office was moving from Newton to Burlington, and we were packing the office up, and just another weekend, if you will, and as far as drinking wise, and completely get obliterated, 3 or 4 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row.
Was there any reason that precipitated that?
No, it just did it. Like I go out, have a couple beers, and I couldn't have a couple beers. It's like you and I go for a couple drinks, and you'd go home after 2, and I'd stay there for another 20, and it's just the way it was. And I never wanted the party to end, if you will. And April 23rd, I woke up. It was a Sunday morning. I had 3 days of disaster, blackouts and everything else from the days before that, I started drinking in the morning, and then I went to the Bruins game that afternoon, and I was asked to leave the Bruins game, not because I was fighting, because I was loud and drunk and out of control in some ways, and we went across the street to the bar across the street, and I had another order to drink there, and I passed out at some point along the way. Anyway, I went home. It was probably about 6 o'clock roughly. I wasn't in a blackout, but I was.
Passed out. Someone take you home? Yeah,
I was kind of in a gray out, they call it, in and out. And my roommate at the time took me home. And I woke up that night at 9 o'clock in my house, and I had woken up with this feeling a lot, with this like emptiness inside. Like I did it again. I can't believe I did it again. Not wanting to truly address the problem. I had tried to stop drinking a couple times before that for a couple days, a couple weeks, but nothing through any professional help. And, I went to work the next day, went to see my boss. He shut the door and he said, "You're an alcoholic." And I agreed because I was in trouble at work. I didn't necessarily agree with him at the time, but I felt like there was heat on. And, he recommended I make a phone call to the EAP Emergency Assistance Program, EAP. I called the counselor. He interviewed me. I passed the test. He recommended I go inpatient in a treatment facility. That was not in my plan. My plan was to maybe go to AA meetings. I had gone to one in my life at that point. Go see a counselor, talk to a counselor a little bit about it, and then after a few months when the heat's off, go back, drink like a normal person. That wasn't in the cards for me. I ended up going to treatment, and when I was there, I got an education on alcoholism, and I got some tools I can use to defend myself against a drink, but it's really on the person working the program, if you will. So I got out of treatment. I started going to meetings, saw a counselor, and my life just got better right quickly. I lost the desire for a drink, and I lost that desire, and my life started to just come together. And I was fortunate enough to have a benefit plan that covered substance use, and it covered mental health if you needed it and things like that. And if you don't have those healthcare plans, families. There's no question that people are watching this right now and the head is nodding because they have family members that are struggling with mental health or substance use, and they have no idea where to turn to. And they have no idea about healthcare and benefits and plans and what do we do with this situation, because not everyone has that support network around them.
You ever wonder where you would be if that didn't exist?
I think about a lot. I mean, I'd probably be working, hopefully, if I didn't get fired, working for the laborers union in some capacity. Nothing wrong with that. I love the laborers union. But all the dreams I had when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I would be thinking back on, if I took a different road, I'd be in a different place. So, you think about both of those sides. You don't never forget where you came from, because I come from the building trades, from the laborers union. My father was a laborer from Ireland, and my mother was from Ireland, and she was a homemaker for many years. So you can't forget where you came from, but you also think about the opportunity that recovery presented to me, which was amazing.
So you run for state rep, you win. You're there for 16 years?
16 years.
Get elected mayor of Boston.
Yep.
Become secretary of labor. Throughout that entire time, you were going to AA.
And I went back to college and got my degree at BC.
So can you tell us a little bit about what that outlet, so to speak, maybe that's the wrong word, was like for you? And you obviously should not talk about what's in the AA meetings, but how it works.
Alcoholics Anonymous is an anonymous program, but what it does, it's a group of people that have the same issue, in some cases struggling with the same issue. And what you want to do when you get sober is give it away. And what that means is you support somebody else who's struggling. And you hear people tell a story about where they came in their journey, and they might be talking to me sitting in the crowd going, oh my God, that was me. And you're letting people know that this group of people can help you overcome a challenge that you might not think in your brain that you'll ever overcome. And when I say it's about giving it away, it's about sitting with somebody who is new in recovery and talking to them about what you went through. And ultimately what it does, it's ironic, it's kind of funny, you're giving it away, but you're getting more back because you're helping somebody. And you're helping somebody that was struggling with the disease of alcohol or drugs.
And you went through a multi-step program as part of your...
Yeah, I went to the counseling, I did all the stuff you're supposed to do. And then when you're there, meetings for me today, it's really about just giving me a sense of peace. Thank God I don't have a desire to drink. And this battle with alcoholism is every day, because you just don't know when there's an opportunity and when there's a thought that might come into my head that I think, well, now I have a bunch of years being sober, I can drink now. And some people, I've heard people talk about that. They've been sober 20 years. They go out, pick up, and eventually it picks right up where it left off, meaning the disaster before they get into AA. And, hopefully I'll never get to that point.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The People's Cabinet. If you did, please like, subscribe, ring that bell, and put in the comments below who else you'd like to see sworn in. And stay tuned for new episodes every Tuesday. Let's go.